focused and fearless. Here's everything you need to know this rush hour of June 17, 2019. I'm Riza Diaz. Kickstarting today's rush with President Duterte finally having a say on the recent ramming incident in Recto Bank. But this time around, Duterte says it may be better to practice patience until we hear China's side on the matter. Jenny Dongon has the details.
More than a week and 3 public events since the ramming incident in Recto Bank, President Duterte has finally broken his silence on the issue. But the president directed his fury not at China, but at Filipinos, particularly critics, who according to him are only turning the incident into a political issue. Discounting the fishermen's testimonies, Duterte insists that China did not mean to hit the Filipino fishermen's boat. The cruise ships and some residents of San Jose, Occidental Mindoro pitched in to haul the vessel ashore, half of it torn down and can't be used anymore for fishing. FB Jamver's crew has since appealed to President Duterte for help.
Yang nangyari dyan sa Banggaan, that is a maritime incident. Huwag kayong maniwala dyan sa mga politiko na bobo. No? Gusto papustayin yung Navy. Banggaan lang ng barko yan. Do not make it worse because that's a fertile ground for alam ninyong mga sundalo, miscommunication yan, patay na.
In his speech at the anniversary of the Philippine Navy on Monday night, Duterte said that while he wants to take action over the incident, the Philippines' response must be well calculated. The same cautious stance was not present when Duterte lashed out on Canada a few weeks ago regarding the trash shipped here. The Foreign Affairs Department was also quick to recall its ambassadors and diminish ties with the North American country.
With all the yung galit and one national officials even urging sending the gray ships, warships doon sa China Sea. Alam mo, gusto ko yan. Kung ako lang ang pipiliin nyo, gusto ko ng action. But I am not in my boyhood age anymore. I have a duty that is a burden, sometimes more than I can carry. I can almost cry.
In the end, Duterte stressed that as investigations continue, there is a need to hear China's side on the incident.
And I do not now issue a statement because there is no investigation and there is no result. Then the only thing that we can do is to wait and give the other party the right to be heard. Dalawang bangka lang yan. Now you go there and create a tension.
For News 5, Jenny Dongon, PR1 News.
A more aggressive stance from the Philippines against China's so-called latest attempt at bullying may not be until a couple more years. This is after President Duterte hinted on further efforts to strengthen the country's defense and security through the purchase of more equipment for the military. While he did not specify details of the procurement, Duterte said it will be enough to challenge any country to war after his term ends.
One thing is very sure. We have had the best of the procurement money sa ating gobyerno. I have contracted to buy, already bought, and I will give you more by the end of my term. Siguraduhin ko lang na tapos kung presidente, pwede na tayo maghamon baski kanino ng gera.
Strong words from the president about waging war. But what does the Constitution say about that? Well, the fundamental law of the land expressly states that the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy. According to some legal luminaries, this only means that the country should only engage in a state of war if another state first declared war against the Philippines. Moving on to other headlines, after almost 2 years, the case of Atio Castillo has obtained its first victory as one of the members of the Aegis Juris fraternity was convicted. The convicted fratman only gets 2 to 4 years in prison, but for the victim's family, it's definitely not a game over. Laila Panghilinan has more details.
Mr. and Mrs. Horacio Castillo Jr. left Manila Metropolitan Trial Court Branch 14 with a sigh of relief. That's after one of the suspects for the death of their son, Atio, was convicted yesterday. Recall that Atio, a UST law freshman, died in a hazing incident on September 17, 2017, in the hands of the Aegis Juris fraternity. However, instead of murder and violating the anti-hazing law, John Paul Solano was only charged with obstruction of justice. With this, he is sentenced to serve 2 to 4 years in jail. Despite the result, Atio's mother, Minnie, was still thankful that justice was somehow served.
We're thankful we have a first conviction of obstruction. At least totoo yung sinasabi namin na napatunayan na talagang may sala sila sa obstruction. They concealed, they evaded prosecution for that. Talagang pinagtakpan nila.
According to reports, Solano did not take part in Castillo's initiation, but he was ordered to bring Atio's lifeless body to the Chinese General Hospital after the aspiring law student lost consciousness during their ceremonies. In the hospital, Solano claimed to be a concerned citizen, saying he just found the freshman's body beside a street in Tondo. According to the court's decision, Solano clearly misled the police to prevent them from apprehending those responsible for Castillo's death. But that's not enough to charge him with perjury, since the reports from Solano's sworn statement were inconsistent. It was not clear whether his first statement was under oath or not. However, Atio's parents are still satisfied with the court's decision.
The perjury is a small case, but openly he admitted it naman that he lied. So the perjury case is not really, for me, it's just a small case. No, but what is important is the obstruction. Kasi dito talagang napatunayan.
Makukonect natin yung
we can connect
cover
all
up
events, yes.
na nangyari.
We're prepared again for our hazing case, and we're prepared again to file numerous cases against all of those involved. Nandito kami talaga para talagang patunayan, panagutan nila lahat.
Yung kasama sa group chat?
Yes, oo.
Hahabulin po namin
sila.
Solano is currently under police custody as he awaits for the court's decision on his anti-hazing law case, along with other charges filed against the rest of the Aegis Juris members. Meanwhile, UST Law Dean Nilo Divina, who is also a member of the Aegis Juris, is now facing a disbarment case. For News 5, Laila Panghilinan, we are One News.
Meanwhile, here are the biggest stories from the dailies. Filipino Star ngayon reports that 2 suspected members of the terrorist group Dawla Islamiyah were arrested in Quezon City last Sunday. During a press briefing in Camp Crame, PNP Chief Oscar Albay identified the suspects as Arnel Cabintoy alias Abu Musab, and Feliciano Sulayaw, also known as Abu Muslim. Albay says the 2 alleged terrorists were placed in the PNP's wanted list after their supposed involvement in the Marawi siege in 2017. Money sent home from our kababayans abroad saw a bit of a slowdown in the growth in April. Business World reports that remittances grew only 4% in April compared to nearly 7% growth in March. Recall that this is after the government issued an employment ban on Kuwait. Still, April 2019 remittances were higher compared to figures from the same month last year. The bulk of it comes from the US, followed by Saudi Arabia, Singapore, and the United Arab Emirates. And this from the Philippine Star. The price of hot dogs and poultry products will not increase. That's after President Duterte signed Executive Order 82, which retains the lower tariff on some poultry products, effectively cushioning the impact of higher prices of consumer goods. The EO retained the most favored nation tariff rates on imported mechanically deboned meat at 5% and uncut meat and edible turkey parts at 20%. With this, the Philippine Association of Meat Processors is now assuring the public that they will not increase their prices. And if you're down south, make sure you have your umbrellas with you. That's because the entire Mindanao has a high chance of rain this Tuesday due to the Intertropical Convergence Zone or the ITCZ. Palawan, on the other hand, may also experience scattered rain showers, and thunderstorms because of the Habagat or southwest monsoon. Meanwhile, here in Metro Manila and the rest of the country may only experience cloudy skies with some isolated rain showers and thunderstorms. Now, aside from possible showers, weather will also be humid, so better prepare for a possible hot afternoon. Water interruptions are back, but this time, no water concessionaires are to blame. This is after water levels from Angat Dam dropped to a near critical mark over the weekend, prompting officials to again urge consumers to conserve water. Shaila Francisco has the report.
Levy is back to storing water for her karinderya in Quezon City after experiencing water interruptions again last week. She fears that the water crisis last March may happen all over again.
Sana sa Manila Water pa tayo, hindi maulit na mawala ng tubig kasi ang hirap na walang tubig. Lalo pa sa inyo? Lalo sa amin, nagkakarinderya kami dahil pag wala kaming hanap buhay, wala rin kaming kita.
Problem is rotational water interruptions may start again this week after the water level in Angat Dam, where Metro Manila sources most of its supply, dropped to 162.39 meters. Aside from below normal rains in the dam, it is predicted that rainfall will be unlikely this week due to a monsoon break. If this condition continues, Angat Dam's water level could reach its 160-meter critical mark this weekend and may even dip to 155.32 meters this month. This will be lower than 2010's level and the lowest level that the dam would have ever reached.
Yung naranasan noon ay hindi po sana magaya sa ngayon, no? Kung kasi lumabas noon, may mga, sa pagkakalam ko, may mga rationing, no? So kung mari po sana, yun po yung gusto nating gawin na wag kong mangyari yung mga ganun.
The National Water Resources Board has utilized the dam's low-level outlet to discharge water when supply is low.
Patuloy yung pag-test, patuloy din yung pagtetest ng water quality. Hanggang 150 level, no? Kakayanin.
Manila Water warns that customers currently with 16 to 24 hours of water supply will be most affected.
Hindi naman siya bigla that we see, no? It's going to be gradual. Ang standing order namin is as much as possible gawin natin sa gabi as much as we can, but siguro may mga pagkakataon in ibang areas depending on the design of the distribution network, may ibang tatamaan during peak.
Maynilad meanwhile advised customers in elevated areas to be ready for any eventuality.
Yung mga high portions po dyan, typically, pag mababa po ang supply, sila po yung kaagad nakakaramdam. 96% of our concession, Angat Dam ang sourced.
The MWSS, NWRB, and the two water concessionaires are set to meet to discuss the situation. Officials meanwhile request consumers to conserve water. Shaila Francisco, we are One News.
Let's fast break now to Sports Rush. The third stage of the Tour de Filipinas has come to a close, and Carlo Pamintuan has the highlights straight from Legazpi, Albay.
After overcoming the challenge of the 194.9-kilometer stretch between Pagbilao, Quezon to Daet, Camarines Norte in Stage 2, the cyclists of the 2019 Tour de Filipinas had no time to relax as they faced the second longest stage on the very next day. Stage 3 starts off in Bagasbas Beach and passed through Sipocot, Camarines Sur, and Ginobatan, Daraga, and Polangi in Albay. Stage 3 did not have a king of the mountain phase but featured 3 sprints at the 65.4, 112.5, and 141.6 kilometer marks. Aside from the extreme heat, the challenge in this stage were the road repairs that made the course even more difficult. In the first sprint, a couple of Filipinos showed their willingness to fight for flag and country, with Dominic Perez of the 711 Click Air 21 by Road Bike Philippines squad topping the list. He was followed by Rahman Wibisono of the PGN Road Cycling Team, Sam Hill of Team Nero Bianchi, and Maud Shukri of Team Supra Cycling. Mark Galledo of the Celeste Cycles Bianchi Philippines was at 5th. Perez, Wibisono, and Maud Shukri still top sprint 2, but Galledo made a move by finishing at the 4th spot. However, after this stretch, Mod Shukri started to slow down as he fell back into the peloton. The four-man lead pack was further thinned after Sprint 3 with Bibisono falling behind. Perez and Gallardo wanted nothing else but to claim the top spot for the Philippines, but Hill was just too hot to handle. The Australian cyclist, who had an unlucky break in Stage 2 with a tire puncture, ended up winning Stage 3 with Perez finishing second and Gallardo claiming the third spot. Up next is the 176-kilometer Stage 4 that will start and end at the Legazpi City Hall, passing through Gubat, Sorsogon. From Legazpi, Albay, Carlo Pamintuan, We Are One News.
Smart has launched its new data-packed postpaid offers under Smart Signature with Ambassador or Smart Ambassador and Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Gray in attendance. Aside from Catriona, Miss World Philippines 2018 Catarina Rodriguez and actor Raymond Gutierrez were also introduced as Smart Signature's ambassadors. With Smart's newest postpaid plan, subscribers are assured of a reimagined postpaid experience. That's through faster internet, controlled data, calls, and text plans. Subscribers are also free to choose among small, medium, large, and extra large packages depending on their mobile usage. Complementing this is real-time billing and usage alerts through the MyPLDT Smart app, which prevents bill shock for customers during the month's end. And that's how the day is shaping up to be this June 18, Tuesday. Join us again next time for another round of Rush. I'm Rita Diaz. We are One News.